What was that? What? What's that sound? Where? It's aliens and they're living in your town.
Damn.
They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town. Are you scared of aliens? Well, you should be.
Hello, weirdos out there in Weirdo Land, and happy National High Five Day.
I know,
wow.
right?
Okay, I'm in a high five slump. I'm not gonna lie. Vicky, are you turned off or annoyed or just put off by a dude that comes up and says, "Hey, what's up, Vicky?" and then gives you a high five?
That's just stupid.
Oh, man.
In any sport event, it's okay. It's actually rude if you don't.
I have been, for the last 2 weeks, I have been giving I'm in this weird place, knuckle bump or high five. And I'm either going high five and they're giving me a knuckle bump and I'm grabbing their knuckles, or I'm trying to give them a high five and they're knuckling. Denny, where do you stand? What is the least cringy? Knuckle bump, high five, or nothing at all? Those are our three options.
I just always go in for knuckle bump now. I feel like it's easier. It's one motion.
It happened a lot during COVID. It was safer.
It became the...
Okay, let's talk.
Sporting event, I still sticking with high five.
Well, somebody wins a game or something. You're
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you slap him in the ass. Good game.
I think you have to make the knuckle fist. I think you have to show it and then go in slow. I'm telling you, I am in a handshake slump. Vicky, I'm giving you knucks. Boom!
I was going to say,
that's a good one.
I think sometimes blowing it up is too far.
I love blowing it up. I like going too
I
far.
didn't. I'm not extra.
Actually, controversial opinion, as I understand it, the emoji that everyone tends to use for prayer hands is actually supposed to be a high five.
Oh, like two hands joining?
Yeah.
Really?
Nah,
Yeah.
that's straight up prayer.
Nah, I think
Do you
I think
know
it's
where
high five.
the high five comes from?
I do not.
Well, Denny's is going to play you a clip. It does come from the boring sport of baseball that me and Beckett do love. I say boring only because people jump on my shit
Love baseball.
when we talk about baseball. But give it a second. This is the origin of the high five, and it wasn't that long ago.
Oh, wow.
No, I didn't invent the high five. All I did was respond to Glenn.
And on the on-deck circle was Glenn Burke, the excited rookie. Glenn put his arm high in the air, and Dusty wasn't sure what to do, so he slapped it.
You can go anywhere around the world, and people know what that is. Everyone wants that moment, and the high five made it accessible to everybody. When you look at how it's changed the world, and it's a universal symbol for all of us to share.
Sometimes you don't know why you do some of the things you do, especially when you're extremely happy. You just respond to each other.
Now, I didn't set that clip up great, but that was Dusty Baker. He's the one that's kind of credited to giving the high five. It was a game back in the 70s of baseball, and nobody gives a fuck. Vicky, thoughts?
I'm one of those people.
We had a scenario where somebody called into the morning show where when the guy and girl had sex with each other, when the guy would, have the big O, he'd high five his girlfriend. Or was it the girlfriend that would high five the... I think it was the girlfriend. She would give a high five after she would have an orgasm.
It's like, thanks, bro. Good job out there. Good hustle.
Well, depending on the position, it would have to be a low five, I think.
I mean, Beckett's got some points. I mean, the 69 position. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Vicky, deal breaker. You're dating a guy the first time. You guys.
First time's pretty wild.
The
right?
first time he gives you a high five or even a knuckle bump. Deal breaker.
Yeah, that one's kind of odd.
You can bump uglies, but you can't knuckle bump? I don't know.
No.
I don't know, Beckett.
What do you think about the high 10 with the preceding chest bump?
Like, good job.
Boom. That's another baseball move. Come into home plate, you have a high 10, and then you do the chest bump.
Is that the equivalent of the 71?
What's a 71?
Don't you know the 71? I thought you were the one, or the 70. It's a 69. But then there's a...
Oh, yeah, what is
I
that?
thought-
It's one of those jokes,
I thought
right?
you taught that to me. Well, we're starting out the podcast loose. Vicky did start walking through my house tonight because there has been some activity, ghostly activity, spirit activity. And Vicky, I'll let you take the floor. What did you feel tonight when you did a walkthrough?
The first place I picked up on it being really strong is right outside the door of the studio, that little hallway that you have. There was a lot of energy. I walked away from there. I went into your living space, and the over by your sliders that I usually feel like dizzy and I feel like there's a vortex, there was nothing over there. But when I moved over in front of your TV, I got a physical symptom. I felt uneasy over there. Then I walked back over here in front of the studio, and something was very nasty. It was saying curse words. It was showing me that it wanted to take all of your stuff on the shelf and just like blow it off of there. Whoa. Very, very aggressive, very, very angry.
Was that right when I walked in? Just kidding.
Left speaker blow. No, so it obviously knows I like my setup here, and it wants to fuck me over a little bit. Now, why would it want to do that? Am I not giving it the attention it wants? Is it a female that's competing with the other ragtimey lady that is the Vavavoom ghost that we've talked about?
I think it's a negative energy that wants to do whatever it can to mess with you.
Denny's.
It feels very negative.
Vicky speaks of negativity. Figures.
I feel like you detect something of that nature almost every time you're here. There's always something causing mischief.
Yeah.
Is that just because he attracts mischievous?
Well, you've hung out with him. You answer that yourself.
I think I'm a peaceful person. I mean,
you do like the weird, though. You absorb.
I didn't know I was on trial, Beckett. And guilty as
Judge and jury. Judge and jury.
Always on trial.
No, you're right. I hide no words or what's the word I'm looking for, Beckett? Plans.
He must be hiding it.
I don't want to talk about it because it is a secret. No, I don't lie. I'm trying to attract some stuff here. You also said a few other things about being unorganized. Now, I really do take pride, believe it or not, when people come over. I like to have an organized house.
Right.
That's the one thing I think I didn't grow up in. So as an adult, I want to have an organized house. And right now, it's not. And I notice if there's a snack pack show, if we're doing a movie, and my house becomes just next level unorganized, there does seem to be an uptick of stuff. Can you speak upon that?
Yeah, negative energies love chaos. They love when things are unorganized. They love when a person's brain is a little bit scrambled, preoccupied, whatever. In the past, I have politely refused to do cleansings on houses that were, too cluttered, hoarders' delights and things like that, because the cleansing is not going to work. You have to have a neat, clean environment in order to cleanse.
Yes.
And clutter is part of that.
So I would say I've got some clutter going on.
Yeah.
And in my areas that I normally work on. And I just wonder if somebody out there is struggling with a spirit or a ghost, maybe take out that clutter and see. Now, does that piss them off? If they like the clutter and they thrive on it, when you start making that move,
does it make them go somewhere else, maybe?
Or does it make them want to, I don't know, spit in your Wheaties?
Yeah, but when you take that clutter or dirt, in the case of somebody who just has a very dirty house, you're taking away their food source. So eventually they're going to get weaker, and they're just going to go someplace else where they might find more clutter and dirt. And I mean, I've been doing this since 2007. I can tell you that there is a difference between doing a cleansing on a house that is clean and organized as opposed to doing something that's not. In fact, the most recent cleansing that we did was in Port St. Lucie. It wasn't quite as unorganized to where we were going to say no. But one of the things we told them to do as maintenance, you need to get this house in order.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to organize everything. I need this cleaned up. I mean, I said it as nice as possible, but it was causing the activity to be worse.
I just notice when there is something that is, it's impossible to keep an organized house when you've got costumes, props, all that stuff. And it puts me kind of in a bad mood, which then makes me not sleep as much. And I think it's just a big cycle.
Yeah.
Well, I heard you guys talking about in the KVJ show. I actually just had her to my house. She's a professional organizer. So if you want the recommendation, I'll give you her offline. She's phenomenal.
I'm so my mom's kid. I have to almost clean my house before I have somebody come and clean my house. She's like, we'll get a professional. We actually never had a professional, but my mom would just,
Yeah.
I would never allow someone to come in here until I And the funny thing is, it was organized, and then the Snack Pack show happened.
Right.
And that's when I saw an uptick in activity. So it's a good point. And I think with all that, it might be time just to kind of morph into Ask Vicky.
I demand a better song.
You deserve
You don't want a
better
ragtime
song.
song?
Maybe we'll AI a song for you.
That's great stuff.
Ask Vicky, dear weird, whatever. Do ghosts who are earthbound ever have human cravings like hunger, sleep, even something along the lines of getting horny, the carnal feelings of a human? What exactly do they feel? And if they feel nothing, why would they stay?
Well, they stay because there's something that has kept them here. For whatever reason, they chose not to go to the other side when the light came for them, so they chose to stay here. Do I think they have real physical cravings? No, because they don't have their body. Do they have mental cravings that might be related to physical things? Yes. Take, for example, if someone was a smoker and they were in a house with a living person who was a smoker, they might try to, some of them are aggressive enough to try to enter their body to inhale that cigarette, or at least stand close enough to smell the smoke. Is that a physical need? No, but it's a mental need because they don't have their body anymore.
You speak of entering bodies. Beckett, don't get any...
Foreign bodies.
What makes a person more likely to get possessed? I don't even want to say possessed, but
Right.
I don't jumped into Beetlejuice style empty body.
It's going to be somebody that is in some kind of compromised position, whether you're going through something emotionally, whether you're under the influence of something that puts your body defenses down, then that makes it easier. It's like somebody sneaking into your house. Like if you don't lock the door, or you're having a party and you just fight anybody in. So it's when you let your defenses down. So anytime that you're doing something, or you're you're having some kind of difficult time emotionally, your guard's down.
Oh, I can hear it right now. Oh, baby, I'm a sex addict. The ghost possessed me. That's why I slept with that girl while I was in Cancun.
Yeah.
Can you see where the naysayer is already typing emails
and
going,
it's not
this
common,
is bullshit?
but it's not common. Most earthbound spirits do not try to jump you. They don't try to experience things. It's only a rare occasion that you would have one who wants to get back inside a living human body in order to experience something. Because again, they're the same person, they just don't have their body. So I got to go back with whatever that craving. It's not a physical, it's a mental craving.
For our next sleep experiment with EVPs on Jbird, we should tie him up in a vulnerable position so he stays there all night. We'll come back in the morning and see what happened.
Beckett,
Well, you do the Ouija board. You want to do it for the people. You got to make some sacrifices.
Are you drinking whiskey or is that shroom juice?
It's whiskey. It's close.
Very good. Danny, is there anything to add on to what Vicky's talking about? She's talking about a lot of crazy shit here.
For sure. I mean, what do you want me to add on, man?
You sassy bitch. Wow. I like a sassy Denny's. All right, Vicky. What is the oldest spirit you've seen? Because a lot of times I feel like, ghosts are so connected to old-timey things. Oh, I saw Paul Revere, and he was the town crier.
In the future, are there going to be iPods that are haunted?
Exactly.
It could be newer objects, things that are important now.
Yeah, how come no one ever sees Steve Jobs? I'm being honest, though.
He'd be the bossiest ghost ever.
The bossiest ghost. Do this, do that, and do it now.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to interact with anybody, but the oldest, gosh, I came across somebody at the Cuban Club back in 2007. It was a woman. I don't know exactly what her time period was. I don't know when the Cuban Club was built, but she was like late 1800s, early 1900s maybe. So that one definitely is a time period. That was a pretty old spirit. And she was strong because she scratched me twice.
Well, can a spirit... And look, if they're, mischievous and they want to lie, can they do the Catherine Zeta-Jones and say, oh yeah, I was born in the 1800s, but she's really born in the 1400s, lying to kind of...
Yeah, they could cover up their age. But I just gathered like her time period based on her clothing and what she was doing, rather than her trying to lie about her age.
You never ask a ghost her age.
It's very overweight. It's very insulting.
Yeah.
But people,
Which is 0.
you've talked about ghosts always trying to trick and manipulate. How do you know a ghost is not trying to fuck you over by going, I'm gonna trick this ghost investigator. I'm gonna act like I'm from the 1400s when I'm really from the 1900s. Can you do magic and manipulation as a ghost? And if you can, kind of sounds dope.
Yeah, I could. I mean, you could project yourself anyway. Even when we see human spirits, they tend to show themselves at their best age. And for some reason that typically averages out to their early 40s. And so a lot of times, like say they live to be 80, they're going to show themselves in their 40s just because they look better.
I'm in my prime.
I can tell you, I'm mid to late, and I wouldn't pick mid to late. That's for damn sure. Do you have a prime that you would pick for? Because I think it's different for everybody. Do you have a prime, or if you could lock in an age, what would it be, Vicky?
Well, I don't know. I'm looking pretty good now, but
Crushing, it's slaying.
Maybe probably 18 when I graduated from. So that's how far back I go back.
Yeah,
Right to the prime.
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
shit.
Say, like 22 would probably be the
No,
prime.
no. Okay, I'll amend that. No, I'm gonna say my final answer is gonna be 34. That's when I had Lindsley and I lost a ton of weight. And my hair was perfect. I wore the cutest little outfits, and I was in my best shape that I had been in years. So I'm going to go with 34.
We're locking it at 34.
We're locking it in, 34.
Becky, what do you locking?
That just goes to show you that your prime is kind of in your own hands, right? You
I always believe that your prime. I mean, it also, I think you have to remember what is prime. You have to maybe redefine what prime means.
Yeah.
But I think mentally, I think prime could be, some people don't hit their prime till their 50s or 60s mentally. Now, of course, like you're saying 18, we all look a little better at 18.
Yeah. I would say 35 to now because it's a balance of wisdom, better place in my career, friends, and then still having my health and my youth. I have no idea what's in front of me, but I would say 35 to now.
I'd say, 35's got to be the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty, I would say 30 to 35 is
You're still in
that
your
really
30s.
nice
You're not
sweet
knocking on
spot.
40's door yet.
Yeah, if you do before 35, then you'll be on the right side of 30.
35 and older, I don't know. I don't want to speak for everybody 35 and older, but I think you just start thinking about shit a little bit deeper and harder, and I don't know.
One of the changes.
Not always a bad thing.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. I just think it's a deep thing, and I think for some people, deepness is a hard thing to confront. I mean, I grew up in a deep family. We were always talking about our feelings, but I've seen it with people that I know. When they get to a certain age, they start to feel and notice things that they never used to notice before, and I think that is a mark of I do. I really feel that way. Do y'all think that?
Yeah, I do.
You have to yell at me back.
I do.
Yeah,
I do think.
I feel the same.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I think the longer you're on the rock, you're supposed to
Yeah.
get a
But
little
you
bit
learn.
better, right?
Even if you try not to, I think you start noticing things. I think some people they get really late to the game.
Yeah.
They'll notice it like Ebenezer style, like right at the very end.
I heard a doctor say this. It was like a health podcast, and he's like, we was talking about longevity. And he's like, it doesn't matter how long you live if you're not healthy. And they say like where science and medicine and nutrition and all those things are going is making your health span match your lifespan. And I think if your health span matches your lifespan, you can have a great year at 80, one of the best years you've ever had. You got your grandkids and you're rocking it, and you got your retirement. You don't have to work for the man anymore, and you got all this wisdom.
I think aging can be sexy and amazing if you got the right perspective.
Yeah.
If you change the way you look at it. I think there's some fun things that can happen. And I think here over in the West, and I've never been outside of America, so I can't really speak upon other cultures and other countries, but it just seems like we here really over the top next level value looks and youth at a very unhealthy level. And I think if you're the kind of human that's able to shed the ego of going, yeah, I'm going to have crow's feet, I'm going to have gray hair, I'm not going to look high and tight, but you can mentally stay strong and spiritually strong, I think the sky's the limit, baby. I think you're going to go to the urn or grave a very happy and fulfilled person.
Well,
but I think that ego... Oh, that's a son of a bitch for a lot of people.
100%. And it sounds like a weird analogy, but you always talk about when you had a fake ID, you had to have confidence to the bouncer, right? I think the opposite sex basically picks up on that, because if you're trying to like Botox yourself and dye your hair and it looks purple in the sun and all this other stuff, like you're not owning it. Right? Like if you age gracefully and take care of yourself and have good hygiene, you can be 80 years old and women will find that guy attractive, right? Same thing with women, but it's that confidence that's that, to your point, like that's like, because I think when you have a bunch of work done and you're trying to hold on to something, that makes someone seem insecure.
Well,
then if you're owning the crow's feet, to your point.
From a certain point of view, I think it is insecurity, but I also think people knock down people who are insecure, and I hate to break it to you, insecurity, jealousy, those are all part of the human makeup, man. And sometimes people are afraid to admit that they feel that way. Yeah. And I don't think you should ever feel bad about the way you feel on something. It's how you react to it. I know I've felt things before, and I've reacted in a childish, terrible way. And I've also had times where I felt terrible and childish inside, and I didn't say anything, and I handled it in a better way. It's okay to feel a certain way.
100%.
Because I don't think you can help the way you feel, Vicky. Thoughts?
Yeah, you can. I mean, sometimes you can help the way you feel depending on how you're processing stuff that's coming in. Like, I try to, when I start to overreact about something, I'm like, okay, wait a second, take a breath. So I think you can kind of change the way you feel sometimes. It's kind of in your hands.
I see your point. I guess what I'm talking about is more of an initial feeling of something.
Oh, yeah, the initial one just hits you.
That's what, and that's that. I'm talking about the purest form of when you react to something. Now, I think people can get control of their feelings. I think it takes a lot of work, meditation. I think it takes a lot of. It does, man. It's like flossing your teeth. Flossing your mind really is a thing, and people don't do it because it is a bit of work sometimes. It does take you taking time out of your schedule, but I think it's beneficial.
Well, that's the beauty of meditating, is it teaches you to not bury your thoughts. You acknowledge your thoughts, but you kind of just keep on letting them go. You don't bury them. And here's the dirty but amazing secret about life that I've learned at 40 years of this planet. If someone's trying to knock you down, they're the insecure ones.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
But you know what? Also, too, I kind of don't agree with that. I think there is this sometimes people just don't like you. They don't like what you do. They're not even insecure, but in their personality, they just like to fucking just talk negative shit. I don't necessarily always.
You don't think they're then?
I think
maybe not as a hard rule. I would just say if I was a betting man, 8 times out of 10, someone trying to knock someone down, not because they have a legitimate criticism about you at that sport or you at that craft. I'm just saying someone that's always trying to knock people down. They 9 times out of 10 are the insecure ones.
I think you have a lot of wisdom with what you're saying, but I do think also too, sometimes people just, for example, someone would they even sent an email, I called them a troll, and they're like, I'm not a troll, I just don't like what you guys do. I'm being honest. And there are people who are very harsh and cutting, and they're not trolls. They're just being honest with, they think you suck. And
blunt.
And I don't think they're insecure. And to your point, I think someone who lives in negative land that's always going, I'm negative, and this is Disney World sucks, and this sucks. Yes, I think they are insecure, but not all hate is born out of insecurity.
I think it's more the personal attacks, not that you suck at radio or podcasting. It's more of like people that are like trying to personally attack someone. That's the more insecurity buttons to me.
I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying.
But you have to ask yourself, if someone doesn't like something that much, why are they participating in it? Why are they watching it? So you do have to get a little bit in their head and figure out, okay, if you dislike this so much, why are you watching?
Well, for example, there are things that I watch that I fucking can't stand. I think they're cringy. I think they're terrible. But I would never go up to somebody that did it and said, that was the fucking dumbest shit, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not I'm not jealous of them. I'm not insecure about what I'm watching.
I know. I'm just saying, like, you have to get inside the mindset of why is the person watching, and so why are you? Why are you watching things that make you cringe and that you don't like?
Enjoyment from cringe.
It's entertaining to me.
Okay.
I like, for example, watching wrestlers be very cringy on the microphone. I find it entertaining because I've been on a stage before where it's going so terrible, and maybe it might be I relate to it and go, I know what that person's feeling, because I mean, dude, when you do radio, there's
a lot of cringy moments.
At least 20 times a day, I'm in a situation where I'm going, oh, this is fucking cringy. I'm involved, and you kind of have to roll with it. So I think I'm attracted to it, and it's not even hating on it. I find it entertaining.
Right.
So even watching, we were watching David Lee Roth's music video. I would put that in the cringy category, but we like watching it because it's just it's like, why is he doing that? You know, it's kind of, you get so that's where the cringe where I like it. Just like, how is this person doing this? You just almost admire it.
But I also, there's part of me that admires cringe.
I just love
because
cringe.
most people don't put themselves out there for the chance to be cringy.
You really are putting yourself out there on the world stage.
There's a respect factor
100%.
to it too, even though I may not agree with it, because I've done some cringy shit in my career.
Yeah.
I can't throw any stones.
I love small town productions.
It's great
because there's so much stuff could go wrong in a live setting. There's so much opportunity for what you say, like cringe.
And it's a big deal because there's not much going on, so everyone's trying. There's just a lot. Kind of like radio.
Yeah.
Vicky, does Vicky believe that creatures like roaches, ants, bugs go to heaven? If not, why?
I don't give much thought to that, so this would be like a quick on-the-spot opinion. I mean, maybe if you had a pet roach that you really cared about. Again, we talked about that the human factor and like why we don't have ghost elephants and stuff like that, because there's nobody for them to come back and visit. I mean, first of all, I don't call it heaven anymore. I call it the other side. And anytime that I have had glimpses over there, I haven't seen anything other than humans. I don't even see who's in charge. Like, I've never been shown God or whatever your religion calls that person in charge. I've never seen. I've only seen the people that are there. And I've never seen animals. I've never seen bugs. I've never seen anything like that.
I thought you saw a dog at one point. No dog?
Not in heaven. I've seen dogs, still here.
So I do want to push back on that a little bit, but I would like to get everyone's opinion before I speak. Beckett, we're big animal lovers. So is it such the American way? Dogs and cats are the only ones that get to go to heaven because that's what we own? Or if we're talking about creatures going to that next level, why do the ones that us humans tend to put on the higher, spot or the chain of great animals, why is roaches fucked and dogs aren't?
You would want horses up there too, because you work with horses.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and when you have a relationship with an animal, it's hard to believe that, whether it's a dog or a horse or a raccoon, even like you could have like these amazing things where you're like, obviously this thing has a soul.
And again, that's human perspective, because the human has the connection, but let's just say you're a roach chilling or a bunny chilling and there's no human connection. Is it go fuck yourself, you're done?
Right. So my brain goes to a couple places. I think about, we talked about Buddhism and the mandala and different levels to reach nirvana. And, throughout iterations of life, we have our soul, and you live a better life, you move up towards nirvana. And if you don't live a good life, you go down the level in animals to insects and stuff like that. So that's a thought. So maybe everyone that started out a roach works their way up to a human and then eventually nirvana. The other thing is that, as this podcast and Vicky has opened my mind to it, and we talked about certain things being a developed skill, and, we talked about like a radio frequency. Like there's all kinds of FM radio waves in the air that can come into my radio perfect, but it's not until I tune my dial. So with Vicky, with her sharpened skill on humans, maybe there are other professionals out there that are more in tune with the animal side of it as well. So maybe it's something like, I don't have any of the talents or the gifts that Vicky has as it relates to human spirits. Maybe she's so niche on that, because even in medicine, there's doctors that crack your back, there's doctors that work on the heart, there's doctors that are general practitioners. So maybe there's different levels of specialty where different mediums have different wavelengths, if that makes sense.
Yeah, very good perspectives. I'd like to get a Denny's on this. Denny's a person that I would say is the naysayer when it comes to the spiritual or the ghostly world. Is it kind of cherry picking dogs and cats, America, and fuck the roaches and the rabbits? Thoughts?
Well, even when you attended a school it was a Christian school, did they teach you that dogs and cats don't go to heaven?
Pope John Paul, they said dogs don't go to heaven.
They did.
Did not.
So
Yeah,
I think
they said that.
really?
Yeah, we had full rebellion.
Oh my God!
That had to be just chaos in the hallway.
Full rebellion.
With the kids verse then.
Yeah, our religion teacher. Yeah, kids got sent to the dean's office, whole deal.
That's a big.
They were so strict on the doctrine.
By the way,
Like,
that's a big day at King's Academy.
yeah.
And in the Bible it says he created animals and such. So I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like anything would point that they would go to a heaven, right?
Wow. So,
I'm just saying.
Chewy's just fucking a bag of bones just somewhere, just kind of, or I'm sorry, a bag of ashes. Just
Yeah,
kinda,
I hear you.
Just fuck that.
It's just, it doesn't seem like much backs it up at all.
But
See-
to Beckett's point, like he said, I'm looking at human spirits when I'm looking at the other side, and it could be that I'm not. Now I can tune into animal spirits. I can tune into living animals and deceased animals that are here still on Earth, but there's no reason for me to be looking for roaches when I'm looking at the other side. It doesn't mean they're not there. It's just I'm not looking at them.
The other thing that I would add on, based on what I understand, what Vicky has described and what I understand to be true, the only spirits that are here are humans that have undealt shit. So I think animals are just a lot better of not having undealt shit.
Okay, make sure you are now going on record speaking for animals. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's got to.
So my whole thing is this: it possibly, maybe it's because of my age, and I don't know. As I've gotten older, I feel like humans really love to make every fucking thing about them
100%.
and their
Yeah,
thoughts
definitely.
and what they think and their perspective. And I don't know. I just feel like we've been wrong a lot. Not only wrong in the past, but wrong in real time.
Horribly wrong.
I think for us to say we don't, animals, they got, humans can go because we're humans and we're the best, but animals, they can't think and they can't do that. I think it's arrogant, and I think it'd be better off if we say we don't know. But I asked the question, I want to get your opinion. I do think it's weird that some people go, dogs can go, cats can go, but a roach can't go, or a dragonfly can't go.
Well, think about
Or a
somebody
cow.
who loves Frank Sinatra and he goes to heaven, right? You're like, oh, my uncle loves Frank Sinatra. His heaven is Frank Sinatra hanging out with him all day. Clearly, that's not Sinatra's heaven. So that's not really Sinatra in that person's heaven.
Exactly. I went to heaven and I saw Elvis perform. Well, that's not Elvis's heaven. That's Elvis's hell.
That's what I'm saying. Elvis's heaven is way different.
I gotta do another gig. Oh shit. Oh, I can't believe it.
So if you take that, the animals, they would also. What if they don't reciprocate? Like you're taking them to your heaven. It's just a presentation of them. The animal itself might just go to its own heaven.
I just feel like humans cherry pick a lot to make their thesis or their statement, and then when you start pushing back, everyone's like, "Yeah, no, I hear you. No, you're right. Fuck roaches." But I don't know. It's almost kind of like we kind of write what we think our nirvana should be, and we hate roaches here on this level. So, they're em dubla em lagada, as they say.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, because I'm an empath, I have such a problem. Like, I will go out of my way to not kill anything. I've waited for a big ant to cross where the gate was, because I knew if I rolled the gate at that moment I was going to squish the ant. I waited for this little ant to go by before I moved the gate so I wouldn't kill it.
But why
So
though? If it doesn't,
because I have respect for all living creatures. I have respect for plants. Like I think plants have feelings. I think plants should be respected.
we've been dicks to plants for too long as humans, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
We walk on the grass, they're crying, they're weeping.
We walk all over them.
We light them on fire and smoke them.
Well, then we kill them, preserve them, and build houses out of them. They're just the skeletons of trees.
Anybody saying anything of noteworthy in the chat room, Mr. Denny's, on any of the topics that we've
So there's there was a dinosaurs went to heaven ? I mean, so I guess wouldn't you also a qualifier be that you follow the teachings of Christ or whatever your religion's teachings is? So if dinosaurs didn't learn a religion or animals didn't really learn a religion, would they really necessarily go to the same type of
fuck the cave people? Fuck them, they didn't know.
That's what everybody before, I think. Can't.
Everyone BC.
Yeah. And that's what I always thought was the discrepancy in religion is because you're taught that you have to believe a certain thing to get to heaven. Well, what if you were never exposed to that knowledge? So it doesn't make sense to me.
They're exempt up until a certain point, I think they say.
Now we're exempt. We're taught in a Christian religion that before the age of knowing, in other words, before the age of being able to, sorry to get religious, to accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, then you're automatically saved. But that to me didn't make sense either because they're saying, well, if your parent was this religion, even though the kid's under that age, they're still not going to go to heaven. That doesn't make sense.
Tell me this don't sound like some HOA human beings sitting down at a table making up rules. Okay, roaches, no, fuck them. But the cave people, well, I don't know. Llamas, they might go. I don't know. It's very human to me.
Totally.
And it's not an attack on religion. It's an attack on humans.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we kind of walk around a little bit more arrogant than we should.
Oh, absolutely.
I just think there's more out there than we tend to believe sometimes.
Without a doubt.
Humans are weird. We're designed, we learn something, and then we immediately go and start shaming people for not knowing it. Like, the millisecond somebody learns something, they're already like, oh, you didn't know that? It's like, bro, you learned that this morning.
I just think we're arrogant as fuck, man.
It's so weird. We just love spreading information.
And then we have the balls, or the clit, I don't want to make this a gender thing, to the point where we try to speak for the universe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we know about the Milky
Birds
Way.
don't mind earthquakes.
We can't even get the toilet paper right, and we're gonna act like we know about the Milky Way.
Totally.
With accuracy.
And we've talked about this before. If the bees or the ants are eradicated on this earth, the whole system literally collapses. If humans were erased, everything flourishes. That's how important ants and bees are in our system on Earth, and how unimportant humans are in our system on Earth.
Then you go, is that just a motherfucker that's pro-bee writing a bee propaganda?
Pushing his bee agenda.
I'm just saying, man.
They got to pollinate, bro.
I love humans on the subset level. Collectively as a species, I'm kind of sus. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It's just fun. Yeah, we're obsessed with making art and destroying things. It's just weird. Yeah. We just love that.
Including ourselves.
Yeah, everything.
Dude,
we're just the opposite of every other animal on the planet.
We are, a lot of times, we get in our own way.
We're tormentors and oppressors.
Totally. It's just weird.
Vicky, great job on the questions. A lot of talk, a lot of discussion. That's what
Can I have a small ass Vicky that's topical?
Yeah, brother, please.
So Jbird just cut his hair. It got me thinking, I understand, in Rastafarian, right? In, I think, some Native American beliefs that hair has a lot of spirituality to it, right?
I feel like when I grew my hair out long, the reason why it's going to sound very Norman Batesy, I let it go for as long as I could. I legit could see my mother in the mirror, and I'm not kidding you, but I was feeling spiritually disconnected from my mom. My mom died in 2009, and I realized I was getting out of my spiritual ways, and I wasn't talking with her anymore. And I feel like when you lose a loved one, it's okay to talk to them. It's okay to celebrate their birthday. As trippy as that may sound, keep them alive in your heart and in your spirit, and you don't lose them. And I was losing my mom a bit. I hadn't talked to her in so long. And seeing that long hair, I'm like, holy shit, connection with my mom. And as weird and as psycho as that sounds, I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
that's cool.
no, definitely.
That's cool. So I was just wondering, like in your travels, like if you've had anything as it relates to, as weird of a question as that is, because it is in
Great question.
Rastafarian and Native American culture, a part of spirituality.
I've never come across anything. That doesn't mean that it's not important. I've never come across anything. There was even the Bible story, got his hair cut off,
Yeah,
lost
loses
his power.
his
So,
powers.
I mean,
Then he came out with a phone.
to me, a lot of times, though, just looking at the way society is and has been, hair a lot of times has been a source of vanity rather than a good emotion, something tied to it. Because, men, as soon as they start balding, they're getting the plugs in, and women were always dyeing our hair and all that kind of stuff. So hair has always been more vain than a positive in my eyes.
Well, I think that's in Western culture for sure.
It's a good point. I Beckett is right. There are some cultures that really have a reverence for hair,
Yeah.
and it's got a spiritual tie to it.
Yeah.
And just even going through my own little journey, and I knew I had some rat ass looking hair. Even with all that, there was a spiritual connection to it. I think there's something to that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Good point,
Yeah.
Beckett.
Thank you.
With that said, I think it might be time for some, because he's been real quiet tonight.
Tag
Yeah.
it.
Denny's random facts.
I thought we were doing Tag It with Beckett.
Our sweet Denny's does a great job finding the best factoids that the land provides. He mines them, he farms them, then he gives them to us. Vicky, our educator, she grades them. If she loves it, she gives him an A. If she hates it, she's been known to give the F and throw the D. Denny's, the floor is yours.
So we talked before about every 7 years, all the cells in your body replace. But also, every 10 years, all the bones in your body replace completely, multiple times throughout your life. Each time it does, it loses a little bit, but you can help retain it. But one thing to consider is just keep your calcium up as you age, because if your body craves calcium and you don't have it, it will take it from your bones as you age, causing them to brittle. So just make sure you take a lot of calcium.
So you don't want your bones to brittle.
It's such a British word to me, brittle.
Brittle.
Brittle, may I please have some porridge
It's such a-
for my brittle bones?
Brittle and nettles. Those are such British terms to me. Picking nettles.
And you also say serpent.
Serpent.
Vicky, thoughts?
Well, I'm going to give it an A because it's very useful knowledge.
Yes, but crazy. Everything in your body changes constantly. Every 10 years, your tastes are going to change, your emotions are going to change, just everything in your whole. We were talking about when you hit that one point in 40, you just feel that next layer of just heaviness on your body, whatever it is.
I without a doubt, it's a true thing. And I would even go every 4 years. I've almost kind of like a college situation. Your emotions, your thoughts, everything changes so slightly. Do you feel that, Vicky?
Oh, yeah. I definitely.
In your life, when did you feel a major shift, just in you as a spirit?
I would say 52 or 53. And the reason I felt the shift is because I wasn't as reactive so quickly. And that's when I was like, okay, I actually can count to 10 before I open my mouth.
It's an ego. It's an ego. I think.
Yeah.
I think if you're blessed to be on the planet, on the rock, as long as you can be, the older you get, I do think the main thing is taming the ego, where you do have to go, all right, I don't agree, but I gotta bite the tongue and just move along, because in the grand scheme, it's probably not gonna matter.
Right.
Now, that's not matters of the heart stuff, but just the daily grind of this motherfucker, son of a bitch, fuck Beckett, this bitch boy. You keep it down. When you say Beckett,
Yeah.
being on the rock.
Yeah.
The Rock, as long as you've been on.
Been on the rock.
When's do you see a difference in your age?
It was probably 36 because I was going into my last relationship, which was about 4 years tumultuous that I got out of like in the late summer, early fall.
Now,
and I had a totally different perspective, not a totally, but a very different perspective going into that
So
relationship.
you're going into a new one at 36.
Yes. Yeah. That lasted a little over 4 years, on and off, and a little tumultuous. And that was a situation, career was good. It was in the shape of my life when I met her, and then it was just kind of a toxic relationship. And I just kind of limped my way through it. And we were quarantined for like a year and a half of that relationship together. Came out of it, probably stayed in it, retrospectively, probably too long. And I was like, jeez, I'm a little beat up. A little beat up on that, and I was a little bit more jaded coming out of that. So I don't know how much it was the 4 years, how much of it was the age part, or just the fact of that like a president will come out of office and he's aged, I think it was just stressful.
So that was you went into it as everyone talks eras now because of Taylor Swift. That was your Radcock era.
I think I'm still in my Radcock era.
We definitely need new speakers.
Yeah. I'm going to get some plugins. Throw a limiter.
Denny's, I'm interested in talking to you because you are you going to be 40 or 41 coming up?
I'll turn 41 this year. I turned 40 at the end. So my birthday's kind of weird because one thing, it's at the beginning of the school year. So it was kind of nice for, school, but for the rest of the year, it's at the very end of the year. So it's, it's hard to say it's my birthday this year because I go, it's coming at the end of the year. But so I turned 40 right at the end. So I'm kind of newly 40. And I did feel a change, definitely.
Would you say you felt the change coming? And when I say change, just a new level of something in your spirit or body. Was that happening before baby Lachlan got into the picture? Were you feeling kind of a change in the spirit, or did, without a doubt, the news of your situation, dog, Jen being pregnant, did that spark the change?
So I think we were fortunate because we planned on a pregnancy, so it wasn't something that surprised us. So it wasn't surprising when she got pregnant. It was an effort that we were doing. So
High five.
That's
Good
hot.
job.
Hot. Hey Dave, give me an orgasm.
We're doing an air high five.
And now because of your fact, you can tell her every 10 years she gets a new bone.
Having a kid every 10 years of your life, I would consider a punishment.
Dennis goes, yeah, I think I'm one and done.
It's just, man, kids are a lot. Well, so that I was all prepared for, and there's an excitement that comes with it. There's an unknown, so a fear, and you start developing new emotions. You start thinking about things differently, things that you didn't really even think about before. So, I mean, all that definitely will happen. As far as a physical change, I will say carrying a kid around that constantly grows, every day just gets heavier. You're constantly lugging a kid around. It's just, it does start to wear on you. Imagine just in your daily life, you're just grabbing something heavy and just moving it constantly.
And it's moving.
While you're doing everything else.
And it's spilling shit on your couch.
Totally.
And pooping.
It's just, lots of movement, lots of rolling, lots of resisting.
Denny's just telling me, he's like, yeah. Lachlan he grabbed this drink and he just grabbed it and then he just took it and then he poured it right on the couch.
So for the people watching, and I'll demonstrate for you guys too, but if there's a cup on a table just like this, he grabs it from the top and then just dumps it. It just goes straight up.
And I told Dennis, I said, at least you had 15 years of practice with a fucking toddler over here as a friend.
During commercials.
Who spills literally everything that I will spill something here tonight, whether it's on the air or not.
So at our, so I guess the common American household rarely, I don't know, maybe they do sit at a dinner table, but I feel like a lot of people sit at like a coffee table at a couch and they watch television while they eat and such. So we have that kind of whole area as like a playpen area. But, man, the amount of damage that can be done and everything that I've already had to do, it's a whole thing. And he's starting to now be able to – and it's just crazy. I guess I never thought about it. But and people who have kids have probably noticed this. But from the age of 0 to 1 year, they get to the point where they can start walking. They're now – it all happens in the first year. Everything happens so quick. I thought – this would be like a 3-year process.
Vicky is laughing. It's just like, yeah, bitch, it's called having a kid.
It's so much, so quick. I thought some of this would be spread out across.
Like the kid starts to walk age 3, starts to talk
maybe
age
like 2,
5.
3,
Tuition.
Yeah.
We give him solids at age 7.
Total. I thought it was all that stuff, but man, it's all so early on. It's just
no, it's crazy. I won't be at Denny's house for 2 weeks just because shit gets crazy, and I'm not even kidding. Lachlan grows 7 inches. He's now juggling. It's insane.
It really is. He learns one thing and then it's just over and over. So all that stuff's cool because I think life maybe a part of growing in life. I don't think you have to do it, but I think it is a cool, fun thing to do, is to constantly learn or expose yourself to stuff that you were just not used to. And I mean, I know, Becky, you kind of talked about how you try to introduce yourself to stuff that you're not necessarily comfortable with.
Yeah.
Do new things. I really think, having a child is something completely brand new that forces you, like a Big Daddy movie situation where you have to change everything on the fly. No one cares about it. You have to do it.
1,000,000,000%. My dad came down from Texas with Chewy, and I didn't want Chewy in the beginning. I'm like, Dad, I can't take care.
You got Big Daddy.
And honestly, my dad had every intention of taking Chewy back to Texas. It was probably day 4 of having Chewy in my apartment at the time. I'm like, Dad, nah, man, you can't give me the chance to fucking take care of Chewy. It forced me to do things I wasn't doing in my routine, that in my spirit I recognize I need. I think there's a lot of people who are depressed or have anxiety, or they may not even realize why they have it. It might be because you're not doing shit outside of your routine, and you do have to change up your routine. I'm very guilty of it. I can get tunnel vision with work and not have fun. And when you step out of that, man, there is a lot of fucking cool shit out there.
Yeah. Sometimes people get too inward
Yes.
and not enough outward, right? And being outward is, it's hard for me to even fall asleep unless I listen to a book or a podcast or something like that, because I'm too in my own head. And there's always a balance. Like, you want to be introspective and all that, but if you have a son or a dog or a wife, there's so many, or a band you play with, there's so many things to put you outside of yourself. Like, even Chester, that committed suicide at Lincoln Park, he said, hey, when I'm with my band, when I'm with my wife, when I'm doing my kids, I'm great. He goes, when I'm by myself, he goes, like, that's when he gets in his own head.
Well,
and
I think everybody suffers from depression to a certain level. I really do. I think that's part of the human spirit. But there are times where I can suffer from some deep depression, and I've realized I call them mood interrupters. Even just getting up and going to have lunch with somebody I haven't seen for a minute, or doing a walk at the beach that I haven't done in a year, it's a mood interrupter, and it kind of slaps me in the face going, snap out of it. Go do something to interrupt that mood that you're in. And I think being aware of that is half the battle.
100%.
If you know that you're kind of going through a little bit of a dark time or a sad time, mood interrupt.
Yep.
With something fun and cozy.
Yeah. Or something you're afraid of.
Or
do
something you're
new,
afraid of.
Join a club.
Yeah.
Vicky, what are your thoughts? If you get down and out, depression style, what do you do?
Well, it was funny you bring this up because I had a really hard week. And like 2 days ago, I got a text message from a former student 21 years ago. This child walked into my classroom, and I was teaching 4th grade at the time, and we had to dissolve that unit because we didn't have enough kids. So I had to ship my 4th graders off. I got a new set of 3rd graders. Well, he was part of the 4th graders that I shipped off. And the first day that child walked into my room, I was just like instantly connected with him. I used to go on my break, and I would take him out and do tutoring and do his reading assignments with him on my break. Well, we've kept in touch all these years. Really bad week. All of a sudden, I get a text from him. And he's like, hey, are you still at such and such school? And I'm like, no, I'm at blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I have this week off. Can I come see you? And just that little tiny thing changed everything in my week.
It really does, though. I think everyone's going through their own bullshit, and everyone's going through their own whatever, good or bad. Everyone's got their own storyline. But the power of, hey, Beckett, you did a great job on that one thing. Or Denny's, I think you're really blah, blah, blah. A specific, genuine comment for somebody, I ain't gonna lie, man, it can be fucking night or day for a lot of people.
Oh, man.
Just something to think about, something that simple. I know I sound like I'm Tony Robbins over here.
That's great.
But I think it's a real thing. I really do.
And I'm also chuckling because I'm thinking you got potty training coming up.
Oh, I know. There's a lot to go. There's just so much.
Well, I mean,
even just eating food is a messy task.
I mean, I know we've kind of strayed away from Danny's random facts, but anytime we can go on a tangent, I like tangents. To me, that's what makes podcasts good. I don't always like staying on topic. I mean, I think you've done 1, maybe 2 factoids. Look at the look at the conversation there.
Look at that.
Give us 2 more.
2 more.
2 more good ones.
All right. Let's see. Garfield is called Garfield all over the world, except for in the Nordic regions of Europe. In Sweden, he's called Gustav, the lasagna-loving cat. In Norway, he's called Puser, which translates to grouchy cat. And in Finland, he's called Karanenevan, the lasagna cat. And I don't know why. He asked them why they did that. And the first two said that they had no idea what the word Garfield meant, so they just translated it to the closest thing. The other people didn't even know what that word was, so they just made it grouchy cat, and then the other one was lasagna cat.
Yeah, no, we should have stopped at one.
Oh, damn! You don't like
That's being such
no
a
Jim
dick.
Davis shit. I got you.
I had a couple shots of Jim. I'm in my troll face.
Let me flip it. I got a good one for you.
No, I'm going to give you an A for that because I love Garfield.
Oh, all right.
I'm in
So,
my troll.
ha.
I'm
Loves lasagna, hates Mondays.
in my troll era.
All right, you're in your troll area. All right, if I got one more. Have you guys ever heard of the Kentucky meat shower?
Ew.
No, but make it. I wish we had a sexy phone.
Well, so the Kentucky meat shower was an incident that occurred for a period of several minutes between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. March 3rd, 1876, where chunks of meat fell from the sky 100 by 50 feet in an area. It occurred. The meat wasn't identified, but they suggested that it was either beef, lamb, deer, bear, horse, or human. And
So it could have been anything.
so they got a university to come out and study it, and the explanation that they gave them for this incident was that a bunch of vultures must have eaten and were flying and got sick, and it was vultures vomiting over the place as they were flying, just chunks of meat. That's the only thing. That's after taking it to a university. That was the only thing they could come up with as the incidents. Some people thought it was maybe a blood rain caused by some sort of colt, but that was ruled out pretty early on.
And there weren't tornadoes in the area prior to that or anything?
No, and I guess this is something that can occur. There's a weird phenomenon where a bird will perch and then multiple birds will purge as well.
You got the meat sweats.
You don't want this bird to purge.
So, but that caused the Kentucky meat shower. You can look that one up.
It's disgusting.
What do you think, Vicky?
That's another A.
You did great, kid.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. I loved it. I mean, it makes a noise for Denny's. Always bringing it. Beckett, let's get tech it with Beckett. Bring your knowledge. You have the floor, my man.
All right. Well, thank you. So, at first, when I heard this, I thought it was just one of those like crap stuff that's BS you see on Instagram ads that doesn't make any sense. And this is kind of in the realm of technology, medicine, health, cutting edge science. So anyone that's familiar with a very, very popular podcast, Andrew Huberman, he's a professor at Stanford, and I think he does neurology.
No, we all know who the
I
fuck
have
you're
his
talking.
books.
Yeah, leather-bound books.
I was just reading his teachings earlier before the podcast.
thumbing
And
through.
who the fuck is Andrew?
So the reason I thought it was BS because there is apparently now research that you can actually help contour your face, not by surgery, not by liposuction, but through what's called jaw contouring exercises. So this isn't just something that some influencer is advertising on Instagram. There's all these studies. I've looked it up. There's all kinds of different things, and it improves your jaw muscles, which is called the masticizer, because when you chew, you're masticating.
So you're talking about
As
the
long as you know no one's home.
the gobbler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it actually helps define your jaw, gives you more of that like jawbone. So what I'm going to show
I saw
to
some of these contraptions
Yeah.
you have over here.
So this is called jaw liner gum. It's actually a jaw exercise gum. And I'm telling you guys, an audience at home, I laughed at this stuff, but then I read all the studies around it. It's actually like, I'll call BS as soon as I see BS, but there's a lot of people in terms of like studies and stuff.
Hold on real quick. This is not a sponsor.
No, it's
You
not
do
sponsorship.
I have to make that clear for legal reasons. This is not a sponsor.
As if you want to contour the
Yeah.
jaw.
So that's the gum. right? And you're only supposed to do it one every other day for 15 minutes because you actually are developing the muscles.
Is it tougher to chew than regular gum, or can you just use regular gum?
Here,
So
I brought
Becca,
samples.
let me
I brought
try it.
samples.
Becca, I'm gonna show off to the camera. I got this little gobbler down here.
Yeah, so
You're telling me
we'll do an experiment.
if I do
How many pieces?
One
One piece.
for 10 minutes, but slowly start chewing on it because it's tough.
But real quick though,
Oh my gosh, this is the hardest gum in the
are
planet.
you telling me that if I chew this
Yeah.
gum, my gobbler goes away?
It helps, yes.
Right.
So there's all kind of.
It's the hardest gum in the planet.
So if you
Hey,
could see this now, this is the other product.
It's like a joke gum.
Wait,
Oh,
Dude, you're gonna break your tooth.
dude, fuck this gum.
you got to slowly chew it. I chewed it on.
Right here.
I chewed it on the way here. You have to you have to ease into it. You need a warm up.
That's my style.
So this is called Jazzercise.
Dude, you're
Jazzercise, and this is the kit.
This is the worst pitch ever.
Hang on. Well, we're gonna do a before and after on the jaw.
Dude,
Right. So it comes, and actually
all over the place.
different resistance. Hang on.
Man, if this was Shark Tank, this would be the most viral clip ever. All right, if you're just listening to the audio, because I do have to explain this to the audience.
Because otherwise,
Beckett gave us some fucking concrete gum. I think I
Dude, it is
chipped.
so hard.
I think I broke a fucking molar or whatever they're
a
called.
back tooth.
Hey,
Whatever.
I'm working mine.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
got to be patient.
You really have to be patient with it.
And I still have a gobbler, so no, I have a broken tooth and I look old.
I really wasn't ready for how hard that gum
Dude,
was.
the next time, little trigger warning, you might be eating concrete.
So studies have shown jaw exercises can enhance the jawline aesthetics to some extent. These exercises primarily target the masseter muscle, one of the main muscles in chewing. Strengthening this muscle through exercise, such as chewing mastic gum or using specific jaw exercise devices, can help define the jawline. It also helps promote muscle growth and can lead to visible changes in the jaw's appearance.
Denny's, do I still have that old man gobbler?
It looks like it's going away.
Rome wasn't built in the day.
I just have surrendered to the fact, dog, I'm going to be 47 and shit's going to start to sag and you're going to have to love me for my mind and my heart.
I love it. But there's a lot of good studies, so I'm going to try it. I will update the
All
audience
right, so
in a
you
few
just
weeks.
started.
I just started. I just got it in the mail today.
So how many? Why is there 4 in there? So Beckett has a box.
So
with
you
4
up-
different colored
so you-
chewing devices.
You up your way through different
different levels of-
resistance.
Oh wow.
Is that Dave Portnoy?
No.
It sure does look like him.
That looks like is that fake Portnoy? It looks like a... Doesn't that from Barstool Sports?
That's
It does.
that's Portnoy with a jawline.
He looks like he's checking his pulse.
Vicky, what are your thoughts on this? This turned into a...
I don't know. I'm getting lockjaw right now. I don't know. I can't
It
comment.
is. It's
So
Yeah.
I still have my gobbler, but I do appreciate the TMG you gave me. Or TMJ, what's it called?
TMJ.
yeah, TMJ. TMI. I like the gum. The flavor lasted about maybe like 4 seconds.
The only thing
I
that
still have a little flavor.
the only thing that lasts less is them striped, them fruit
You're right,
gum.
fruit stripe.
Y'all know about them fruit stripe gums. They taste the best right out the gate, and within 3 seconds, it's
Yep.
nothing but bland and heartache.
Oh, that was the Gatorade gum.
It's so good.
The Gatorade
gum,
gum was
yeah.
so good when you first put it in your mouth, and then you're like, oh.
Tim, what's the drug where you take it, it's amazing, and then like 5 seconds later, you're not high anymore?
Cocaine.
Salvia. Yeah, cocaine.
Cocaine, I've heard, lasts a little bit longer than 5 seconds. I'm talking. I mean, the striped gum. The flavor is gone in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's
Fruit.
quick.
Was it fruit stripe?
Fruit stripe, juicy fruit falls in that category. Wrigley's falls in that category.
I just dropped my gum on the ground. I'd be afraid it would mess in my rod.
You're gonna
but
stub your toe on
I'm
it
actually
later.
afraid it's gonna fucking
It's gonna be hard to find.
put a hole in my carotid.
Yeah. You kick that through your wall.
I'm trying to blow a bubble with it.
Oh.
That's my challenge.
That'd be a straight flex.
Denny's. Do
I'm
you have,
trying.
Do you have one more?
I'm trying.
Oh, we're done with you. We're done with Denny's. We're done. Beckett did the tech it.
I'm
should be
exercising my
Skeletons
jaw.
Every 10 years, skeletons come.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna come in here looking like Drago.
Dude, if I notice a visible jaw difference, I'm gonna buy some of those.
There you go.
I will. I'm not against getting rid of some of the. I'm gonna curb
look,
a little the.
It's a new technology in science. I'm gonna try it.
I've accepted the fact that I have a gobbler, and I just, look, if you're telling me that this concrete
could
gum,
work.
this concrete gum's gonna break my teeth, but make me look on the outside a little bit younger.
Yeah.
If
Hey.
anyone buys it, I would just chew really slow on the first few.
Yeah, you gotta.
We are so obsessed with staying young, man. It's a fucking, it's.
Well, it's good for you.
America, we really are.
No, America, we are.
I'd say England as well.
Man.
Europe.
There's some countries and some cultures where the more lines and wrinkled your face is, you'll go, holy fuck, that's the celebrity. That's the person you should listen to. They got some wisdom, baby.
Do you think there's a society that extreme where they really idolize just the old?
Asian.
Absolutely.
I know they definitely revere.
Oh, no, there
but I'm
is.
saying where they hit an age and then they become celebrities.
Not celebrity, but I would say as far as being revered and going for counsel, yep. I just don't think it's sexy because we here in the West really, really put up on a pedestal youth, looks.
We had George Burns. I mean, that guy was smoking cigars and drinking scotch on the rocks, at 101 years old on Larry King. We had Betty White,
Yeah, but George,
Martha Stewart was just on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
No offense to George Burns, but I was a kid and he always he looked like a raisin's butthole, dude. The guy was old as fuck.
But he was at top of society. Hugh Hefner. I mean, Hugh Hefner.
We don't promote Hugh here. He's got some scandals, dog.
Does he?
I mean,
How could you not?
he would definitely be somebody that has multiple scandals, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, but he also did a lot of good. I do have to. Have you ever watched? I forget what network it was on, but it told his life story. He was progressive in other ways that weren't related to.
I couldn't agree more. Ted Bundy. I mean, of course he murdered people, but he also saved somebody from drowning. So we all got good and bad. I agree.
Don't let me throw this gum at you; it'll hurt you.
I'd have to go to the hospital. Thank you guys for listening to the Weird and Whatever podcast. It got a little loose towards the end.
Yeah, it kind of free for him.
We did have some Jameson, but that's why we love it here. I
mean, it's almost Friday.
No shit, right?
Friday.
Oh, Friday indeed.
We here really, really support local artists, musicians. We're kind of, I don't want to speak for Becky, but fuck AI when it comes to writing your own music and really singing for your supper.
Well, I mean, he did have a song written by AI.
It's not attack on the man. It's attack on the robots.
The machine.
Yes, exactly. But
It's good if you're not a musician. I'll stick by that.
Don't get me started. I had a whole segment about that, but we are running late. But I do appreciate everybody. If you're local here and you write your own music, you are a songwriter, please let me know. Send it to my email, jasonpenningtonkvj@gmail, or send me a message on my Instagram, jasonkvj. Instagram's probably better. But this week we've got Jason Montero, an original song. It's called Stay Away from the Moors.
I thought that was a cool title.
I love it personally because I'm a big werewolf and a big American Werewolf in London fan. And if you click on the link of this song, he did a whole video with
The music video is really cool.
with werewolves and American Werewolf in London. But we support local musicians. If you are a local writer, send me your shit, please. We want to get it out there. We love that. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the weirdo world and society, Denny's.
The weirdo ecosphere.
I had great fun with y'all. Thank you guys for a great night.
That was great.
I always look forward to this. And thank you guys in the chat room for being here with us live. We love you all. And
Bigfoot is real.
John Montero. Jason Montero.
I feel funny, I don't know what the hell is going on. My snout is running and I'm growing all this hair on my palms. And I took a bad help, it's all I can do to stay calm. I ain't religious, so I can't get no help from no song. No help from no song. No help from no song. Greyhound bus was headed for Pennsylvania, sweet Pennsylvania. Sweet Pennsylvania. Come to think of it, the driver was looking kind of pale. With his pointed teeth, his bloodshot eyes, and his long fingernails, long fingernails. Long fingernails. Recommended a cheap place in town run by an old gypsy lady. Sun wore fur in the middle of July. I knew that something here looked shady. Lunches she served seemed a little too raw. I started to throw up on the floor. I grabbed my bag and went out for some air. They cautioned me, stay away from the moors. Stay away, they say, stay away from the moors. The garlic we eat ain't just simply folklore. Don't you stray, stay away, far away from the moors. It might be like canthropy that is knocking on your door. Knocking on your door. Something huffed, something puffed, and I fell on my face. I see a big bad wolf, and he gives me such a chase. Well, you know, 4 legs, they've always had some things over too. He took a big bad bite as I screamed at the moon, screamed at the moon. Screamed at the moon. Recommended a cheap place in town run by an old gypsy lady. Sun wore fur in the middle of July. I knew that something here looked shady. Lunches she served seemed a little too raw. I started to throw up on the floor. I grabbed my bag and went out for some air. They cautioned me, stay away